I want to talk about the controversial part of TFC. As someone who is a huge fan of TFC, I can understand why someone is uncomfortable with that. I mainly enjoy it because I love jesters, clowns, circuses, commedia dell'arte, what the game is loosely based on, etc. But I also enjoy the romance and yonder part of the game. In my case, I hyperfixate on characters that obsess over others because that is one of the few ways I know how to show love myself. I'm learning to get better and show love in a more healthy way, but seeing Yondir characters, Pyro and Harlequin from TFC, Monica from DDLC, etc., it helps me realize how unhealthy that form of loving is. While I am learning to change, I still enjoy those types of characters. Hell, I am a huge fan of Harlequin. I stopped obsessing of Pyro. I still like him a lot, but he's not my fave because he is such a yandere. Pyro is a great character. Hell, in Commedia dell'arte, I prefer Pyro over Harlequin. While, yes, I understand Neko, the creator of TFC, chose to make their own adjustments to the character. I personally am just not super drawn to Pyro as much as I am Harlequin. Now, another thing of note is that I am AOSDD system. We're only saying I, because our host is writing this and it is her opinion. I have Harlequin, Jester, Pyro, and a fictive of ROC Marionette. I would say that also plays a part in our love for these characters without going into too much detail as it is highly personal. Now, I would argue, yes, Harlequin in some paths of the game saws the player, MC. I would also like to argue that what he did was less saying than everyone says. I was sawed back in 2023 by my, at the time, partner, so I have a fairly good understanding of what constitutes as SA, rate, etc. I would argue that while, yes, it is bordering on being se, Harlequin stops when the player tells him to. Another explanation for why he does this is him being heavily implied to be hypersexual. As a hypersexual person who's trying to cope with it, I know that Harlequin being hypersexual never excuses his actions, but they explain them. I would like to also say that there is a section on the website that give trigger warnings for the game. Also, if you are uncomfortable with the game, I understand, but you know what you can do? Not play the game and not interact with it. I feel it is fairly simple. I am not trying to be rude or attack people not in the fandom or people who get uncomfortable by the game, but I feel like it's an opinion I have and want to share. I love TFC, but if I have a friend who I know is uncomfortable with that, which I do, I stop talking about it. Simple. That's all my thought for now. Thank you for listening. Harlequin out.